of Undergraduate Research Education Series. Today's session is the U.S. Forest Service, Career Pathways for Permanent Employment Through Paid Internship. This is a virtual event and is being recorded, so we ask you to mute yourself and turn off your camera to ensure the best experience. And if you have any questions, please use the chat feature, or you can unmute yourself when you are invited by the speaker. And this is the event evaluation. We would love for everybody to complete this after the presentation, but we wanted to remind the UROP and the early exploration scholars that you must fill this out in order to get credit for attending the event. And the mission of the Office of Undergraduate Research is to facilitate and promote undergraduate, student, faculty, collaborative research, and creative works in all disciplines throughout the University of Utah campus. And we would like to acknowledge that this land, which is named for the Ute tribe, is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshute, and Ute tribes. The University of Utah recognizes and respects the enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous peoples and their traditional homelands. We respect the sovereign relationship between tribes, states, and the federal government, and we affirm the University of Utah's commitment to a partnership with Native nations and urban Indian communities through research, education, and community outreach activities. And now I'd like to turn it over to today's speakers from the U.S. Forest Service.
Thank you so much, Shelley. We are very, very excited to be with you all today to talk about some very, very exciting and special opportunities for you to get your foot in the door with the U.S. Forest Service and have a paid internship that leads to a full-time job. So we have a great lineup of speakers for you today. I'll introduce myself. My name is Dr. Amy Firestone, and I'm the Supervisory Student and Emerging Professionals Program Manager within our Workforce Development Partnership Hub at the U.S. Forest Service, which is located within the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And then I'm going to ask for the other colleagues here to just say their name and their title and the office they're in. Julissa.
Hello, my name is Julissa Gonazlez, and I'm the program coordinator for the Minority Serving Institute's internship program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sylvia Staples. I am the co-coordinator for the Resource Assistance Program within the Student and Emerging Program area that Amy leads out on. Happy to be here with you and look forward to sharing information about RAP. Passing it over to Bryan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bryan Bearor. I am the Region 4 recruiter located in sunny Ogden, Utah.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Jeffries. I am the admin officer, mission support for Rocky Mountain Research Station, one of the research stations included with all R&D for the Forest Service.
Thank you all. As you can see, we have a diverse lineup of speakers representing different parts of the Forest Service. So you can learn a little bit more about the work that we do and the work that you can get involved with if you decide to become an intern or employee with us. So an introduction to us, we wanted to start out and provide you with an overview of what is the U.S. Forest Service and the student programs that we have available, learn about some special hiring authorities that we offer through the Forest Service and through these opportunities to do an internship. Some of these internships are shorter term, they're for a few months, and some of them are longer term for up to a year. So you'll learn about these opportunities and then how you can apply for them if you're interested right now. We're going to be opening up applications very, very soon. So we want you to take advantage of these opportunities that could be located in Utah or in your region or other parts of the U.S. Also many virtual opportunities. So I wanted to start out by giving you a little bit of background on the U.S. Forest Service. As you can see, we're down at the bottom there. And if you think about the federal government, you know there are federal land management agencies. And we fit in within the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And you can see that we are probably the oldest part of the federal land management agencies located specifically within Department of Agriculture. We manage 193 million acres of land. And you've probably been on our land before in Utah or maybe in another state, but you're familiar with the Forest Service even if you don't realize it. I wanted you to see the differences between the Forest Service and the Park Service, Fish and Wildlife, Bureau of Land Management. Maybe you've been to a national park before, so you might be familiar with seeing that, that shield when you travel somewhere. But the Forest Service has a very, very broad mission. You can see at the bottom, what we do and how it differs from the other land management agencies. And you're going to see why we're special and understand the scope of what we do in a few moments when I explain to you a little bit more about the organization. So first, it's important to understand our mission, because if you want to work for us, we want to make sure that you are behind our mission and that this is something that you also believe in. So the Forest Service's mission is to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of the nation's forests and grasslands to meet the needs of present and future generations. So could you be that part of our future generation? I think so. Our motto is caring for the land and serving the people. If this is something that resonates with you, then you're in the right place, and I hope you'll stay on to learn more. So what are our priorities? Of course, being such a large agency, we have close to 35,000 employees across the United States. We have a lot of priorities that keep us up at night, and also make sure that we're on top of what's most important for the forest and for Americans. So I'll read a few of them. Protecting lands and communities from wildfire. I am sure that you all are very familiar with the wildfire crisis and what the Forest Service is doing around this. Combating climate crisis. We know this is very urgent in our world, and this is part of the work you could do with the Forest Service. Delivering social and economic benefits to the public, advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in our programs, and having a wonderful workplace. And so these are all the different things that are part of our agency's priorities that you would get to be part of if you decided to become an intern and or an employee with the Forest Service. So we hope that this resonates with you and that you find yourself passionate about these priorities and can help us advance our mission. So you might ask, Amy, you said this is a very large organization. One, to give you a very brief overview of how big it is and how it's structured. So the Forest Service has its headquarters in Washington, D.C., and that's where I'm located. Our chief is Randy Moore, and reporting up to him, you can see there are many different leaders across many different areas of the Forest Service. Civil rights is a very important part of the Forest Service. We have an international programs office if you're interested in our work internationally and how the Forest Service works in different countries. Law enforcement. We also have our tribal relations office. We have a business office. You can see financial officer. We have research and development, which you'll hear about in a few minutes, and our national forest system as well, which is where a lot of the work happening in the national forest is going on. So there are many different areas. You can see even communication, legislative affairs. There is something really for everybody who wants to contribute to our agency's priorities. You can find yourself in any major and really find a pathway to help solve these different crises that our climate is facing in the US through the work of the Forest Service. So just to give you another snapshot of the National Forest System, we have 154 national forests. Maybe you've been on one. 20 national grasslands, and you can see some examples there of a prairie, and then also all the different units that we oversee. So this is a very large agency, and you can see how all the roles that we have are critical in supporting the mission. So just to give you the map, and you'll hear a little bit more about this in a minute, where Utah is located in our Region 4. We are divided into these regions that help us really plan our resources and manage the different priorities in front of us. So you can see the Washington office located here in DC. And the different regions. Now, as an intern, you might want to stay in Utah and work locally, but you can work in any of the regions in person and or remotely and really have that opportunity to contribute. I want to turn over to Bryan right now to give you a little bit of a snapshot on the Intermountain region where you all are located.
Thanks, Dr. Firestone. Yes, we're in the Intermountain region. Of the 193 million acres that Dr. Firestone had mentioned, we have approximately 32 million acres here in Region 4. Now, Region 4, as you can see on this map here, is comprised of Utah, Nevada, Western Wyoming, and southern to central Idaho, and a sliver in California. So we have 12 national forests here in this region. One of them's right in back of where you're at in the school, if you're traditionally at the school right now. We have 64 district offices. Those are ranger districts, and obviously it falls under the forest. And we have just in our region 9 national parks, 11 national monuments. There's a lot out there to see. Our workforce doubles. So we have 3,500 employees. It doubles during the field season, if you will, from like May to October. And that is something that maybe you have been taken advantage of in our seasonal work in between your semesters. And if you haven't, I encourage you to do so. And that's part of this presentation. One of the things I put on this slide here is something that is outside of work, I guess, and that is www.recreation.gov. So if you haven't been into the forest, you haven't been hiking, you haven't been camping, please take this opportunity to do so. I met so many people here in Utah that have never been into the national forest. So you have a gem right behind you, and elsewhere throughout the states, but particularly because I'm a champ for Region 4 here in the Intermountain region, particularly here. So those are developed recreation sites available on that if you wanted to reserve it for an upcoming camping excursion. That's my contact information right there on the screen. And Alicia Horning, which is in the Uinta Wasatch Cache National Forest, which their building is in West Jordan, Utah. She's a good contact for you for local questions. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you have a local contact. They're ready to help you pursue opportunities for jobs within the Forest Service and also learn about the internships that are happening locally there. So thank you so much. I wanted to talk about one of the other areas. I briefly mentioned research and development. And if you are interested in doing research, being a researcher, you're already a researcher, you want to pursue a master's, a doctorate, and you want to get some exposure into what the Forest Service does in its research and development arm. This is something really interesting and exciting for you to be a part of. I'm going to turn over to Lisa Jeffries, who will tell you a little bit more about this part of our agency and the opportunities.
Thank you, Dr. Firestone. Appreciate it. So a little bit about R&D. It is one of the branch areas of the Forest Service. The Forest Service R&D is a world leader in forestry research, studying the most pressing natural resource management issues of our day. Generating our findings and tools and assisting land managers to sustain our nation's forest and grassland. So that's really our mission, our core mission. Place-based research within a land management agency, scientific support to management and community needs, including the U.S. Forest Service wildfire crisis strategy. So we've been in existence, R&D has been in existence within the Forest Service since 1905. Next slide, thank you. So this map shows the footprint for each of the research stations within the Forest Service. So I'm currently in RMRS, Rocky Mountain Research Station. Our footprint is 12 states, including the state that you're going to school in. There's a lot of opportunities within the West for our work related to climate, wildfire, watersheds, resiliency, inventory analysis, many opportunities. And Bryan mentioned we do have a strong field season as well. So some of you may have been temp employees with us during the summer, fulfilling some of the tech roles that we have within the station. Next slide.
I think that's it. Lisa, is there anything else you wanted to share with the group?
Well, I did want to just mention that in R&D, we have 1,500 employees. We have 450 research scientists, 81 experimental forests, 700 plus pubs just last year. So I really encourage you to seek out a little more information. We're happy to share our web pages with you, and good luck in your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. And so you can see there are just a wealth of opportunities within our research and development arm. And you can just see the map here where these opportunities lie. There's really a lot if you're into if you're majoring in social science or natural resources, there's research opportunities for you at any level. So make sure you get more information. So now we're going to transition into the student programs. And our team here, you can see some little pictures here of different initiatives that we've had with students across the United States. We have a number of student workforce programs, and today we're just going to focus on a few of them for you because some of these are only available in certain regions, but we wanted to make sure you saw what programs we have. We really serve students 17 and up who are have a minimum of an associate's degree, can be all the way up even to a doctorate. So just know that our student programs can serve many different majors as well, and really students across the United States and Puerto Rico. So wanted to just tell you that our programs are different than maybe other internships that you're familiar with, and you'll learn about them in more depth in a few moments. But we offer either direct hire or a public land corps certificate through our internships. And you might ask, well, what does that mean and why is that important? Well, when you're getting ready to apply for a federal job, if that's something that you're interested in doing, it is very challenging to be able to obtain a job in the federal government. They're very competitive jobs. But if you complete one of our programs, and you'll learn more on which one offers which certificate, you can have a direct pathway into the Forest Service or another federal agency. And this is unique because it means that that time you spent as an intern provides you not just with a certificate of completion, but a certificate that gives you a full-time job. So this is a rare opportunity. Not every internship offers this. I've done a number of student internships with federal government myself, and none of them offered a direct hire or a public land corps certificate. So these are ways to get a fast track into the government if that is what you're interested in. And if not, these are great experiences to have on your resume to help you for that next job. So I wanted to mention that. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Sylvia Staples, who you just met, who's our co-coordinator of our resource assistance program, to tell you more about this special program we offer with a direct hire.
Thank you so much, Amy. And thank you guys for joining us today to learn about the opportunities within the Forest Service. So again, I'm Sylvia Staples and I co-manage the Resource Assistance Program. Been with the agency for about 12 years now. And I came into a program that's very similar to the Resource Assistance Program. It's called SCEP, which is now our Pathways program. So I'm sure you guys have probably heard about Pathways. And we won't be talking much about Pathways today because I'm sure you guys already know about it. So we will drop some information into the chat box. I'll drop some links because we do still have those Pathways opportunities. But I'm going to talk to you guys about the Resource Assistance Program. Next slide, Amy. So the Resource Assistance Program was established in 2016 in the Forest Service. This program was established to allow us to tap into our underrepresented communities, right? So we use this program to focus on those that are from HSIs, which are going to be your Hispanic Serving Institutions, your HBCUs, which are your historically Black colleges and universities, your tribal schools, as well as other schools that provide minority students, as well as a focus on women. And so with this program, we have an opportunity to provide you immersive work, on the ground training. We match you what we call a mentor that's going to provide you mentorship as well as on the job training within various positions across the agency. And so you have opportunity to work within research, as you guys just learned about research. So you can work with scientists, you can work in law enforcement, you can work as a public affairs specialist, engineering, GIS. The list goes on and on about the opportunities that we have. And so with this program, it allows us to attract and retain the diversity and bring you guys into the agency so that we can reflect the populations that we serve. Excuse me, next slide. So a little bit about this program and about the eligibility and the benefits of this program. So again, with this program, we really try to target those that are a senior and that's graduating or have already graduated, just because unlike a lot of our other opportunities, this program is a little more long-term. Our programs are either 8-month term or 12-month term. And so it's a little difficult when you're trying to manage university commitments as well as your RAP commitments. And so that's the reason why we try to target those seniors. And so with that, as you can see in the eligibility, you must be at least 17 years of age. And if you graduated, then you definitely hit that mark. You also must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, because the main goal of this program is to bring you in, train you, develop you, and then to hire you into the agency. And so in order to be hired into the agency, you must be a U.S. citizen, permanent resident. So moving right along, successfully completion of this program, that means that you have received at least a minimum of associate's degree. You have completed 960 hours, which is roughly about 6.5 months, and you had a satisfactory performance within your position that you are working in. And we have positions that are virtual as well as in person. So as long as you can hit those marks, you're going to be awarded a certificate. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So within this program, the benefits that you will receive while you are working in this program as an RA, which is resource assistant, you receive a stipend. And so with the stipend, we have two different stipend amounts. You can either be receiving $650 a week or $750 a week, just depending on your roles and responsibilities of the position. We also provide a $1,000 a month housing allowance, and this is for everyone, regardless of if you're working in person or virtual. In addition to that, we provide healthcare as well as paid time off. And so if you would like to opt in to healthcare, you have that option or not. The PTO, we provide you days off. You don't really receive sick leave or regular leave, but it's just a set amount of leave that you will receive in addition to the federal holidays that we also receive as federal employees. We provide a stipend that gives you an opportunity to really focus on your training and your development, which is $2,750. And so with those funds, you can sign up for a professional society. So as an example, I'm a forester by trade. And so for a long time, I was a member of the Society of American Foresters. So again, depending on your field, if there's a professional society that you would like to sign up for your membership, you can use these funds for that. You can also use these funds for any conferences as well as other training opportunities. And that's really great because not a lot of internships or programs provide that additional assistance in order to grow professionally. The networking and mentorship, that piece, that benefit is invaluable because you're going to be working very closely with your subject matter expert within your particular field, as well as others that are within that staff. So you really have an opportunity to learn and grow from, various subject matter experts. And so as an example, within the agency, I was a forester, but I was able to work within wildlife, recreation. I was a firefighter, wildland firefighter. I was able to also work with the archaeologists. So you're able to do a lot of cross training, and that again is really invaluable and really allows you to grow professionally. You're going to receive that mentorship, as well as the last bullet, which is the most important. Once you hit your 960 hours and you do have that degree component and you satisfactorily completed the program, you're going to get a certificate. This certificate gives you two special hiring authorities. The hiring authorities that you receive, one is going to be the non-competitive hiring eligibility. That means through USA Jobs, which you guys I'm sure have heard about, the federal government platform in which you apply for positions, USA Jobs. You could go to USA Jobs and apply for internal Forest Service position that you traditionally would not have access to. And the second authority is going to be the direct hire authority. That means that we can directly appoint you into a position without further competition. So if you're working for us as an engineer through the RAP program and you have your degree, you hit those hours, we give you that certificate, and we have an engineering position that's open, we're able to just directly appoint you in that position and you don't have to submit another application, if you will. So that's simply what that means. And so this is an amazing program. I really call this certificate the Willy Wonka Golden Ticket because it really is your ticket into the agency, and we have no other program that's like this. And so again, as long as you do a good job, and I like to look at this program as a long-term interview. So again, once you have your degree, you come into the agency and you have this long-term interview, working on the job and really selling yourself. We have a position for you at the end of the program. And so that's what this program is really all about. And we have opportunities all across the agency, in Puerto Rico on the El Yunque National Forest, as well as the International Institute of Tropical Forestry. We also have opportunities in Hawaii, in Alaska, in New Mexico. So you name it, even there in Utah. So you name it, we probably have an office there and probably have an opportunity. So if you're interested in the RAP program, if you're graduating, then please reach out and we would love to share these opportunities with you. Next slide. So these are our amazing partners. So I talked about USA Jobs as a platform to apply for the internships and permanent positions, but through the RAP program, we manage this program through partners. And so we have agreements Through these amazing partners that you see here on the screen, we have Environment for the Americas, Green Youth Foundation, Hispanic Access Foundation, Manners, which stands for Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences, as well as Mobilize Green. Those are our national partners. And we also have amazing regional partners, ANSET, which is the Alaska Native Science and Engineering Program, Conservation Legacy, Great Basin Institute, and Northwest Youth Corps. So with these partners, you are able to apply for our RAP positions through our partner organizations. And so if you do have an interest, you will go to their partner job board and see the positions that we will be hosting through that partner. You will apply through their job board and you will work for us through this partner. And then once you complete the program and get that certificate, that's when you can become a Forest Service employee and federal government employee. And again, you can learn a lot more about our partners. And our partners also have other programs in addition to RAP. So again, if this program doesn't fit you because you're not a graduating senior, or you need kind of a shorter window of engagement, then I encourage you to still look at these partner organizations, because there could be other opportunities within other programs that would benefit you. And the last thing I'll say about our program, you can go to the next slide, Amy. And the last thing I'll say about our program, again, if this does fit you and it does align with your career goals and you are interested, then please reach out to us. We are right now recruiting for over 100 positions that will start in July. Again, positions will be 8 and 12 months. So if you do have that opportunity to work within 8 or 12 months, then I encourage you to apply. The positions are posted on our partner job boards. I will drop this link that you see here, the top one. I will drop it into the chat box. And when you go to that link, if you can learn more about the program, and if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see links to our partner organizations, and you just click those links and it'll take you to our partner webpage, and you can learn more about the organization as well as see the available positions that we have. If you are graduating in December and you are interested next year, then we're going to have a winter cohort that's going to typically start the last week of January, and we'll be recruiting for those positions in the fall. So just to kind of recap that, we have 2 opportunities a year for to engage in the RAP program. We have a winter cohort and a summer cohort. So again, to learn more about the program, visit our site. You can also send myself and Michaela Hall, we are the co-coordinators for the RAP program. You can send us an email with any questions that you might have, and we look forward to connecting you to these opportunities. And again, if this doesn't work for you, then we can share, and you can connect with Bryan, who's the recruiter for your university in your state, and he can connect you to the other opportunities. But that's that about RAP. Thank you guys so much for your attention, and I look forward to answering any questions.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Julissa Gonazlez. Thank you for attending our event and learning more about the Forest Service and Forest Service opportunities. And so I am the program manager for the Forest Service Minority Serving Institute student programs. And it includes internship opportunities that we have available, as well as environmental institute events. And so, just like Sylvia mentioned earlier, this is a unique opportunity. It's separate from employment type of internships that the Forest Service has. If you're interested in applying for an employment, a temporary job or an internship, you go to www.usajobs.gov, and that's where Forest Service has their official employment positions. What we're talking about is something separate. We work closely with our nonprofit partners to host our internships. So, Sylvia at the end talked about our partners. I, for my program, am leading with our partners to start to help you learn more about the partners and apply directly through the partners. Working with our partners, it actually allows us to be able to place interns more quickly. And so can we go to the next slide? And another thing to note is the target audience, or the student audience that my program works to recruit and place is current undergraduate and graduate students. And so the internships are temporary. They're 640 hours. So students can complete them in the summer full time and then work part-time throughout the year, or they can work 2 consecutive summers. The goal is just to finish 640 hours. And so a little bit more about the program in general. The program is part of our Forest Service Equity Action Plan to represent an inclusive and thriving workforce. So the Forest Service partners with these organizations specifically who support college and university students of color. And that is because these groups are underrepresented in our Forest Service workforce and in the public that we serve. And so we as federal employees, as public servants, our goal is to serve all of our communities in the US. And so let me introduce you to some of the partners. Can we go to the next slide? So our first partner is the Conference on Asian Pacific American Leadership, otherwise known as CAPAL. So this nonprofit organization, they seek to empower Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander youth by increasing access to public service opportunities. And so students like yourselves can apply directly to our partner. And so the way it works is I share with the partner the position opportunities that are available with the Forest Service, and they provide the intern candidates to us to review. And so CAPAL supports the Forest Service in recruitment and onboarding of students. So let's meet a couple of the students. Can we go to the next slide? So these are two interns that worked for us last summer. So Austin is on the left. And he's from the East Coast, actually, but he worked on the Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit in California. And his position was originally supposed to be an administrative support business type of internship working for the fire management unit. But he actually wanted to learn more about firefighting. So he was able to receive all the training and even conducted some prescribed burns. So that means he lit piles on fire. And so that was exciting for him. And it shows that his leadership really, his supervisor and mentors really, helped him in pursuing whatever interests he talked about. And on the right, we have Justin at Finger Lakes National Forest. And so he was a program assistant for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. And so his internship was virtual. This was like a field trip visit. That's why it's a picture of him outdoors, but his position. So this is an example of how someone could work virtually, but still support, an effort to manage or take care of, a piece of land or a public land. So it included, for him, some of the duties included managing some of the information, like streamlining data tables. He said that he drafted sections for congressional reports, and he summarized certain restoration initiative topics like invasive species information, things like that. So that's something that you could all potentially be doing. Can we go to the next slide? So the next partner is Thurgood Marshall College Fund. This is the nation's largest organization representing the Black college community. And so they provide similar services. You would also, as a student, be able to apply to them. And we work with the partner to place students. And Thurgood Marshall partners with several companies and government agencies, not just the Forest Service, to place internships and provide mentoring services. And something that's the same with all partners that I want to highlight is that the student is technically employed by the partner. And part of that, as I mentioned earlier, it helps facilitate the process because the application with the partner is usually easier. And then starting to work with the partner is easier, but then you get to do a lot of work with the Forest Service. And so some of the students on the left of the screen here, they were also worked during this past summer. They were either environmental resource interns or research interns. So let's get to meet some of them as well. Can we go to the next slide? So Erica here on the far right, she was at the Waianae National Forest in Ohio, and she was a recreation intern. So what that meant is she supported in all things related to recreating. So she helped clean campgrounds, she helped maintain trails, painting fences and picnic tables. And so this is like an entry-level type of internship or job. But one special thing about this internship for her was that she was able to do a lot of shadowing of professionals and leadership in different careers. She was able to see how they lead a staff and how they lead to manage the resources on the land. And so that is a special opportunity if you're interested just in general learning about the Forest Service. And actually, Jarrell on the left, he his internship was in Idaho, but it actually was a very similar type of internship where they did, work that needs to get done on the ground, but at the same time receive opportunities to learn and network. So can we go to the next slide? So then we have the last partner that we group with that we partner with to host internships, which is the Hispanic Association of Colleges and University. And this, or HACU, this organization represents more than 500 colleges and universities. And it includes also from the US, Puerto Rico, Latin America. And they have a large internship placement department that places hundreds of undergraduate and graduate students. As I mentioned, this group provides the same service as some of these other partners as well. In recruitment, you apply directly to the partner. And they also, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. They place students from different, with different organizations as well. So other private as well as nonprofit organizations. And then can we go to the next slide? And so here are some of the HACU interns from this last summer. And so we have Kailani on the left. She was an intern in Northern California on the El Dorado National Forest, and she was a visitor information intern. She helped manage the visitor center. And so, when you're the person that people come to learn more about the forest, you have to learn. You have to learn about the ecosystem. You have to learn about recreation sites to be able to provide that information to the public, right? And so that helps you learn more and be able to learn more about the different professions. It's a way to get your foot in the door as a visitor information intern. And on the right, we have Alina at the Rocky Mountain Research Station in New Mexico, and she was a research intern. So she supported our scientists, our researchers in doing, anything research, which includes collecting data or samples, analyzing that information, and sometimes even supporting in writing and supporting in the work that gets published with research and development. Next slide. Oh, and so I kind of jumped ahead here. So these are the internship opportunity details that I mentioned. Students can work throughout the U.S. They would earn. It depends on the partner how much you would earn, but I know right now that most students will earn at least $16 an hour, likely more, depending on whether you're a graduate student or depending on the partner that you apply to. And these internships will be mostly 640 hours. There's flexibility in how you complete those hours. And if you're a virtual student, we do provide a government-issued computer, and students have to go through the process of accessing our network. Next slide. And then the last partner that I want to share more about today is not a partner that provides internships. Through this partner, we host events. So you can also apply to participate and be part of these events by applying through the partner directly. And so these events, they're for STEM students majoring in STEM fields. We host them 3 times a year in different locations, California, New York, and New Mexico. But anybody can apply. Transportation to the event is provided. And it's usually for 30 students. It's a very immersive overnight, day and night educational experience where students get training on how to conduct research. Then they go to different field sites and actually practice conducting that research. And then by the end of the end of this event, they actually present an assessment of the ecosystem from the visits they've made. Can we go to the next slide? And the next slide is an actual example of the last event we hosted in California. Students were from all over the country. And, for example, on the picture on the far right is, a demonstration of an electrofish backpack that students were able to try on and what normally a fisheries biologist would use to collect information about the fish in certain lakes and creeks and things like that. And We also provided just general information about how to apply and how to network to work for the Forest Service. And that is what I have. So thank you so much. If you're interested in learning more about these opportunities, please contact me. There should be a website here also, and the website is a Forest Service website that has links to all of our partners directly. So that's available here. But if you can also reach me and I could send you this information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate everyone's time today to learn about the vast number of opportunities that the Forest Service offers for students like yourselves. And, maybe one of them is a better fit, as Sylvia was mentioning, in terms of the time you have available to take time away from school to do an internship. But all of our opportunities are paid. A lot of them are providing housing, lots of travel stipends, and the mentorship. So you can really get to know the Forest Service through an experienced professional and find a pathway to employment if that's something you're interested in. So you're asking, how do you apply for these great opportunities? This is the season right now where we have the internships open. You can see links here that you'll be able to have later. And this is where you'll find the opportunities around the United States to apply for. The National Hispanic Environmental Council is a little bit different. It's a much smaller program, and there's an email here to request more information. And Julissa Gonazlez can also provide you with some more information if you're interested in understanding that program in a little bit more depth. So we wanted to take the end to thank you all for your time, and we do have about 15 minutes or so for Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, I know there might be some in the chat. There's some links we've posted here from some of the areas we mentioned. Glad to take any of your questions at this point. And thank you all, and hope that you've found something new and interesting about the Forest Service and intrigued you to find out some more information.
Amy, we had one of the registrants ask, what made you choose this pathway opposed to others? I don't know if all of you could answer that, or maybe just some.
Sure, I'll call on my presenters, my colleagues, whoever wants to take that's a great question. We have a lot of good examples.
Hello, everybody. I mean, the Forest Service has tons of jobs out there. What brought me into the Forest Service was I was very interested in pursuing a job with the Forest Service when I was a young man. And I ended up running into a recruiter for the Army. I joined that. And almost 30 years later, I became a Forest Service employee. So everything went full circle. Some of the things I did within the military qualified me for the job I got in civil rights, which is a very rewarding field. So that's my story.
Hi, I could share my story. So I learned about the Forest Service and joined the Forest Service because of programs like these. And so I was a college student myself 20 years ago. So at that time, there was a program that was reaching out to underserved communities. And I was part of a program at the university that serves children of migrant farm workers. And I was in that program. And I was a business student. I didn't know anything about the Forest Service. But this program reached out to us, and I just learned about the forest. And it was, something that I didn't know was accessible to me, that I could be a part of. And so I jumped at the opportunity, and it literally has changed my life, because 20 years later, I've been a Forest Service employee for that long. And so I think it opens doors. It's an opportunity to serve a noble cause, right? To give back to our land and our public. And so, it's also a realization. It was a realization that you don't have to have a science background necessarily to work for the Forest Service, although that's important. Actually, that's, our mission critical work. But there are also jobs that are not, that you can do even if you're not a majoring in a science field.
I'll share mine real quickly. I'm from a really small city in Alabama, and Where I'm from, you kind of typically just go for the careers that you see every day, the nurses, the doctors, you think about a lawyer, a teacher. And so for me, I chose social work. I wanted to be a social worker, but it wasn't until I got to college my sophomore year that I had friends to talk to me about forestry. And I was a country girl and I was used to, running through the woods and skipping rocks in the lake. And I enjoyed being outside, but I never thought about it as a career option. And so, someone talked to me about the Forest Service and talked to me about forestry. They're like, we get these internships in the summer all across the US. You pretty much guaranteed a job when you graduate. So I was like, okay, that sounds great. With a career in sociology, social work, psychology, you really have to get your all these certifications and advanced degrees in order to be successful. And so I thought about that and I switched my major over from social work to forestry, and everyone questioned it, but it was actually the best decision I could have ever made in my life. And when I did that, I had my first internship out in Salem, Oregon, and I was working as a forester there on a timber crew. And that was kind of my first exposure and experience into this world. And that's when I became a wildland firefighter. And so I've been doing this kind of work since then, and started with the Forest Service as a forester working in Kentucky. And all of this happened through internships. And so that's the reason why internships are so important. They really help you to kind of find your niche, figure out what you want to do, because you may have a thought or an idea of what you are interested in, what you like to do, but it's not until you really get on the ground and really start to see the everyday work of these positions and what they detail or entail to see if that's really what you want to do. So it's through that internship experience that I was like, I really enjoy doing this, to be able to do this work outdoors and have lunch, one day by a lake, and the next day I'm on a fire, to just do all these amazing things. It was really, really great for me. And so again, best decision I could have made. And so when I graduated from college, I was actually able to just convert into a position straight out of college. And that was, 12 years ago. And so I did forestry for a while, and then I was able to become a recruiter and now a program manager. And so you can really find your niche, and one opportunity can lead to another opportunity. You may start in a field like me, and then later on find yourself in an administrative position, or you could start in an administrative position and then find your way back to the field. But the Forest Service has a lot of different opportunities. But I would say be open-minded, be flexible, and just allow your journey and your path to kind of take you and lead you where it does, and you'll find your place. But that was kind of my pathway into the agency, was through internships and being a forester. So thanks.
Thank you all. Shelley, were there any other questions that came through?
One person asked, how can I use chemistry in the Forest Service? I don't know if any of you can answer that.
I'm happy to answer that on behalf of R&D. I mean, there's opportunities within the forest, but our science, we have chemistry, heavy chemistry positions with scientists within tech. You can start as a biotech, all different kinds of technicians, and then professional scientists, all the way up to, as Amy mentioned, research grade scientist, someone with a Ph.D. So there's opportunities for postdocs. So whatever your field of science is, there's probably, as Sylvia mentioned, every career opportunity in the Forest Service. That's kind of the beauty of where we work. For me, my pathway in is really pretty idealistic in that I want my job to be meaningful. I want my career to be meaningful, giving back to the public. So I would say chemistry definitely exists in science. It also exists on the forest too. Fire sciences, there's any number of sciences that use chemistry. So through these internships, I really encourage you to seek out something that might interest you in regards to chemistry.
And another person asked, what do you look for in terms of experience? But I would think that's different with each internship.
Definitely. Sylvia, do you want to chime in about the resource assistance program?
Yeah, I'll chime in, and I'll just kind of give a general answer as well, because I think it's good to know. As far as experience, what I would say with the RAP program, this is a developmental program. And so while it is great for us to see that experience on the resume, we're really looking for just someone that's bright-eyed and interested and really just ready to jump into this world of natural resources and grow within the Forest Service. And so we don't really look for a whole lot of experience. experience, we look for interest in someone that aligns with the goal of the or the intent of the program. But I would say generally though, most positions, or supervisor are going to be looking for someone that aligns with the position type. And so that's the reason why internships are so important, for you to show that you've gotten some in-person experience or exposure within that particular field. Even if you can't get an internship, work that you're doing there on campus, being involved in clubs or organization looks great. Volunteering within your community, all of those experiences will look really great on your resume. Anything that you can do, even if it's something that you had a job and it wasn't necessarily within your field, there are transferable skills that we can look for as supervisors within the agency when we're looking at resumes and identifying a candidate for our positions. So when you think about experiences, think any and every kind of experience, looking for those jobs and things that can give you, like I said, those transferable skills, looking at things that can give you leadership experience, things that can give you teamwork experience. If you are, interested in communications, maybe taking on community projects where you are producing flyers, or you're doing speaking engagements, or speaking to a class, or speaking to a club organization. Again, it just depends on what your career interests are, but there's a lot of ways to get experience. And so that's the main thing, just get something on your resume, because in the government, especially when you're applying through USA Jobs for those kind of more federal opportunities throughout without a partner, we take all experience that can help qualify you for a position. So again, get involved in different clubs or organizations, get experience, whether it's in the community, they're on campus. There should be, most professors will have like those work study opportunities. So reach out to your professors and ask them what type of work that they're working on. Another way to get experience would be to reach out to a graduate students. A lot of graduate students are doing research and collecting data for their theses and stuff. So reach out and ask, a graduate student if you can maybe shadow them or help out with their projects and such. And so again, the main goal is to get some experience, whether it's volunteering or real on-the-job experience. But that's really what we're looking for. Someone that has experience, someone that likes to be connected. You're connected to close the organization. You're showing leadership skills. You're showing teamwork skills, and you're interested. That interest is really what's going to take you. And that interest and that passion is, I would say, what we're looking for within my program and other programs. So hopefully that helps.
Well, I want to thank everybody for attending today's education series. We want to thank all you great people from the Forest Service for sharing all this great information with us. It's very informative. And I just want to remind everybody about the evaluation form. I'm putting the link in the chat. Reminder that the UROP and the early exploration scholars must complete this in order to receive credit for attending today. And just remind you that the Office of Undergraduate Research, we're located in the SEAL Center. Our website is our.utah.edu, and you can email us at our@utah.edu. Thank you again, Amy, and your peaks.
Thank you all. I'm excited for you all to apply and explore the Forest Service. So we're here to help answer any questions you might have. And thanks to all who joined live, and looking forward to hearing from those who will watch us later. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.